This video is going to tackle a problem that I think every single Anki user has faced at some point in their career, dealing with a mountain, an absolute ton of overdue cards and reviews. Whether you were busy with rotations, exams, took a vacation, or just fell off the Anki wagon for a little bit, those overdue cards can be very overwhelming. But don't worry, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the best tips, strategies, and even some secret Anki features to help you crush the backlog and get back on the Anki grind and track. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is premed. I'm currently a third-year medical student who has been using Anki for years now, since the MCAT. And as for my credibility, I was nominated for the Anki Award in my medical school class. And let's get right into it. Okay, first things first, don't panic. Everyone falls behind sometimes. It does not mean that you're failing or that you forgot everything that is due. The most important thing is to approach this strategically. When you first see a pile of overdue cards, it is very tempting to try to do it all in one go. But please refrain yourself from doing that, because cramming in thousands of cards will burn you out and it won't help your retention at all. It will also mess with the algorithm and create a ton of more work for your upcoming week. There's also a mental aspect to this. Don't view it as a chore. Treat it like an opportunity to build some momentum and get back into the habit of daily grind and daily practice. The key to long-term retention and spaced repetition is daily practice. Instead of trying to cram it all in one single day, is to break it into smaller, manageable chunks. And today we'll walk you through step by step exactly how to do that. Okay, the secret weapon is called filtered decks. You probably may not have used these before or even heard of these before. They let you create temporarily focused, if you will, a to-do list of cards that you want to tackle first. Perfect for organizing your overdue pile. There are countless uses for filter decks, and I will make another video on filter decks. Okay, so how do we make a filter deck? You want to first click on the deck that you want to use. If you only have one, it makes it simple. If not, just click on whichever one that you have a pile up of cards in and that you want to tackle first. I'm using Anki because I'm studying for step 2. That is the go-to deck for a lot of the medical students here in the US and also abroad. After you click on the deck that you want to use, go to the top left of the screen, click on Tools, and hit Create Filter Deck. In the search bar next to the deck, type in is:*due. Pull up all the due and overdue cards and set a limit. Then you'll see this creates every single card that is overdue into this pile. This can be overwhelming. It may show that you're due 1,000 cards or even more, like mine is showing right now. Okay, now let's talk about how to actually tackle that filtered deck. Let's break it down into smaller chunks. So you could change the maximum amount of these cards in this deck to, let's say, 50 to 100 cards per session. And the rest of the cards, if you have 2,000 overdue, for example, you're going to be tackling 100 at a time, and within 28 days, you will have caught up entirely. And we'll work through a real-life example at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around for that to make it as personalized as you want for your own situation. And when you do this, do not panic. All the other cards do not go away. They just go to the original deck that you have, and whenever you hit rebuild at the bottom, it just recycles and pulls from the actual overdue pile that has been sent to the original deck. Another tip is to increase the daily review limit. Some of you may have it set at the normal settings. I think when you first download Anki, it might be set at 200. You want to go increase the maximum reviews per day to 9999 or 500, whatever makes you comfortable. I usually have mine set at 9999. If you don't want to do that, just pick a number that's reasonable for you. And remember, this is temporary. You can always go back to your original number whenever you feel like you're back on track. Okay, if you have an absolute ton of cards, not all decks may be equally important to whatever it is you're doing. For example, let's say you're in a certain block or you just started rotations. You would want to prioritize the relevant decks related to the course or rotation you're in. So for example, I'm on internal medicine rotation. I want to focus on the IM cards, and all the other cards that may be not as urgent, like surgery or OB, all those cards can be suspended. So I tackle the cards that are most relevant to my current rotation. They won't go anywhere, so don't panic. And by focusing on your highest yield content first, you'll see progress faster, and you'll also stay motivated. You won't feel like this is just another chore, as this will be currently relevant to the class or rotation you're taking currently. Okay, let's talk about a real life example. Let's say I took 2 weeks off to study for shelf, and I built up with 1,500 overdue cards. That might be very reasonable to some of you students watching this video. So this is what I would do. I would create a filter deck of 100 cards a day of my overdue cards. I would do 50 in the morning and 50 in the evening. So I would have split up the 100 cards into 2 sessions. And if you're completely locked in, no distractions, you can tackle this within 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even faster if you do remember the cards. And it shouldn't take more than 30 minutes to an hour every day of doing this. And I would have increased my maximum reviews once again to a number that makes me happy. Mine is set at 9999, so I wouldn't have to worry about that in this case, and I would focus on my internal medicine deck first. And within about 2 weeks, I would be fully caught up. And the most important thing with using filtered decks and not adding on to your pile is making another filter deck and creating cards that are due for today. So make sure you're completing all of today's cards, because if you don't, whatever you have remaining will be transferred to the overdue pile, and the pile will just keep on growing. So it is very important that you tackle today's review cards and then add on, if you have extra time, on the pile of the overdue cards. And this is why you can see on my Anki I have 2 different decks, one for today's cards and one for overdue. Okay, just for some more helpful tips that can make a really big difference depending on your individual situation, feel free to use the suspend feature. As I said, some cards are not urgent right now. Temporarily suspend them so they don't clutter your filter decks. And make sure you enable reschedule my cards after you do the filter decks, because if you don't, this can be used as a way to cram, but it won't affect your scheduling for your actual Anki deck. You want your work to have actually counted for the time you put in, and you won't want to redo these cards. So make sure that is enabled, and this will send the cards as you do them back into your original Anki deck. And you might see that the algorithms timings at the bottom might be a little wonky. Some numbers that you might not be used to. This is because you had a lapse in the repetitions on your time off. If you do remember a card, let's say after 2 weeks, after not seeing it, that truly does mean you do remember it. So don't be scared to hit that good or easy button. You don't have to hit again and hard on all of them. Just trust your answers there and just be honest with yourself. And you can track your progress, as always, using the statistics page. If you especially increase your daily limit count, watching those numbers climb can be really motivating. Hopefully these little tweaks and tips help you stay organized and focused while you're catching up. Let's wrap this up. Hopefully that made sense. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below. The most important thing is you're trying to be consistent with this. Even 30 minutes a day can add up fast into tackling that deck. Once again, make sure you prioritize today's cards before you tackle the overdue pile. You just don't want to keep adding to it. I've made that mistake before, and I don't want you to also make the same mistake. And don't beat yourself up. Everyone falls behind. And most importantly, just be patient with yourself. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want more Anki tips, or if you have your own system of tackling overdue cards and have some tips, drop them in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, I would appreciate it. Subscribe, and you can notify when I post more videos. Thank you so much for watching.